Boy, oh boy, am I going to cop some hate today. G'day, guys, and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. Now, guys, I am going to be giving you my power rankings for the 2023 NRL season. I'm going to do this every week, probably Thursday. It'll drop before the first game of the round. So we're going to jump straight in and, get through this. Now, remember, these are just my opinions, guys. Take them with a grain of salt. If you disagree with them, feel free to let me know why you disagree with them in the comments. I know you're going to say, you hate my team, you're biased, you're this, you're that, you got no idea what you're talking about. I know, I get it all the time, don't worry. You wouldn't be the first and you won't be the last. So feel free, go for broke. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what you say. Anyway, let's get this going. Let's jump straight into it. So these are the power rankings. Now remember, well, my power rankings, they have to have won a game to be in the top 8. Okay? If your team didn't win last week, they're not going to be in the top 8 of the power rankings. I don't care what happened last year. This is a new season. I'm basing this off round 1 and to an extent trials. So let's jump in and see how I've ranked these teams. Starting off with 17th, I've gone the Dragons. They didn't play. I can't rank them any higher because I haven't seen what they've done in 2023. They were abysmal in the trials, so I can't rank them any higher than 17th at the moment. In 16th, it hurts me to do so because I quite like the Bulldogs. Bulldogs are my 16th team. They were the worst team of the round, in my opinion. Absolutely looked horrible against Manly. I do think they will bounce back and get a win over the Storm this weekend. I know, what a stupid tip. You just never know, honestly. So, look, I do think Bulldogs will bounce back. They'll be right. But that first week was horrible. All right, 15th. Now, this is where it gets a bit sticky. I am going to put the Knights in 15th. I think the Tigers looked slightly better than them. The Knights were, in my opinion, one of the worst teams, obviously, of last week. And look, I thought they were just extremely disappointing, and I was expecting better of them. 14th is obviously going to be the Tigers then. Another team that I expected a bit more of. I don't know why they didn't play Api Curacao. I don't understand it. They started him off the bench. He needs to be playing 80 minutes at the Tigers. Otherwise, they're not going to be successful. All right. Now we get to some of the quote-unquote upsets of the round. I'm going the Roosters at 13th. Here we go. The Roosters fans barking in the comments or chirping in the comments. Shut the hell up. You guys lost to the Dolphins, who are one of the favourites to win the Wooden Spoon. I don't think they're going to now, but they were one of the favourites, and you guys lost to them by a lot. Like, you guys might, only 10 points, no way. The Dolphins control that game throughout the whole game, and the Roosters look flat. They did. I'm sorry. And I'm pretty sure they're leading in errors now too. I could be wrong about that, but they're definitely up there. Another team that, in my opinion, definitely disappointed last week is, where the hell are they? Now I've forgotten. Oh, the Sharkies. I thought the Sharks were disappointing. They're going in 12th. I thought they were flat. They're not the Sharks we know. Personally, I'm happy how the Rabbitohs won that game. I thought, we lost Jai Arrow and Tavita Totola early, so I'm very proud of the Rabbitohs for winning that game. But against the Sharks, the way that the Cronulla Sharks were playing, the Rabbitohs should have won that one by more, in my opinion. So, look, the Sharks, I thought, were extremely disappointing, and 12th, I think, is a fair pick. Raiders, for me, are 11th. Look, they were good in the second half against the Cowboys. I thought they were definitely the better team, and that momentum is going to really help them this week, in my opinion. So I think the Raiders will be fine this week, but that first half was atrocious. Credit to them for putting it together in the second half. But, look, it was – the first half was disappointing. Second half was much better. I probably would have had them at 13th if they continued that poor performance from the first half. But to their credit, they stood up and played better in the second half. All right, next up we've got Who is there? We've got one of these two teams. I'm going to get. Now, you know what? I'm going to go the Panthers in 10th. Losing to the Broncos, I thought they were pretty disappointing. They weren't horrible. The Panthers were not horrible, but they're not the Panthers we know and love. Well, I don't know about love, but they're not the Panthers we know. And while the Broncos were outstanding, the Panthers were flat and just didn't offer what they normally do in attack until Sonny Luke came on and just stole the show. Yeah, look, I can't rate them any higher. I can't. And the next thing will be the Eels. Like Eels are another team. Like they score a try instead of Harry Grant, they win that game. We're talking about them in the top 8 of the power rankings. Like I can't have them any lower than 9th. I honestly can't. Obviously can't have them in the top 8 because they didn't win. But yeah, look, I think that's fine for the bottom 9. Onto the top 8 now. Warriors are my first one. They were fine against the Knights, but again, it is the Knights. They haven't really been tested against the top 8 side. They were good. Defensively, they were outstanding, but I can't have them any higher than 8th. I'm sorry. Another one, the Titans. I tipped against them because I didn't think the Titans would beat the Tigers. But to their credit, they played really well. The Titans were outstanding for parts. They were disappointing in parts as well. But when the attack flowed, they were nearly unstoppable. Like I think they'd give it to a top 8 team with some of the performances they put out last Sunday. But look, I can't have them any higher than 7th. I think all these teams are above them. All right, this is where I'm going to cop some flack. Cowboys, I'm putting in 6th. Yes, I know. You're a dickhead. You got no idea what you're talking about. Stop talking about football. Shut the hell up, all right? Shut up. You guys were outstanding in the first half. You looked so good. And the Heat should have gotten to the Raiders, but it didn't, to their credit. And you guys were abysmal in the second half. You were terrible. If it wasn't for the Chad Townsend field goal, you 100% lose that game. 100%. He misses that, Raiders win. And I'm talking about Cowboys out of the top 8, Raiders in it. So, look, don't come at me barking that I've done you dirty, because I haven't. You guys were not great, especially in that second half. The first half, you'd be in the top 4 for power ranking, 100%, easily. That second half was horrible, and if you take that sort of form to the Broncos, you're going to get beaten by 30 plus. Honestly, like Cowboys fans, I love half of you, and I hate the other half. 50% of Cowboys fans are, reasonable. But the other 50% are some of the most biased fans I have ever met. So Cowboys fans, shh. All right? Shh. Next up, I have got the Storm. Melbourne were good without being great. Cameron Munster playing with the freaking dislocated finger popped out. Bloody crazy stuff from Cam Munster. Storm were very good, but they weren't at their best, in my opinion. All right, we now have the top 4, and you're probably going to say I'm biased, but I personally think 4th spot is pretty low for the Rabbitohs. I would like to put them higher, especially because we were playing with 15 players from about the 20th minute of that game. So our forwards, credit to them, they stood up, they had an amazing game, and I'm very proud of how the Rabbitohs played. However, the Sharks were so flat, and we made a lot of crucial errors in that game. If it wasn't for some, if we didn't make that many errors, we win that game by a lot more, and we need to get on top of those errors. So, look, 4th may be too high, but I think for most people it's probably going to be too low. So, I'm happy to lock my Rabbitohs in at 4th. I personally don't think that's a biased take. Some of you guys might say that it's too low. Let me know in the comments, but Rabbitohs are 3rd for me. All right, next up, I'm going the Broncos. Now, the Broncos definitely could be higher for me, but I think what these two teams did in the weekend was just amazing, especially with trials and stuff like that. Like the Dolphins we'll talk about them in a second. But the Broncos were very good. They beat the top of the table team. They beat the premiers of last year. They looked amazing. And look, I wouldn't be upset if you guys said they should be number one. 100%, I'd probably agree with you. But I like these two teams better on the weekend, and we'll get to them in a second. But the Broncos, your fans should be so proud of your effort. Amazing stuff. Herbie Farnworth, what a game. I think that was the best game I've ever seen from him. He was outstanding. Shout out to you guys. And Corey Jensen, what a game from him. Man, honestly, the Broncos are looking so good this year, and I am nervous. They definitely could be a top 4 threat, honestly. Next up, I have got the Dolphins. Look, you could definitely swap these two over 100%. Dolphins just came out and they just battered the Roosters. Defensively, the Dolphins were probably the best team on the weekend. In defense, outstanding. Felice Kafusi was putting shot after shot on. Their backs was just outstanding. They knew the job. And I just, Dolphins fans, I would be so proud of your boys because they were brilliant. All right, Manly. Shout out to Manly. What a game. 31-6 over the Doggies. Look, I know the Bulldogs struggled in their first game, but this is nothing to I wouldn't rule this out as, it was a nothing game. This was huge for Manly. What a win. They proved to everybody they could win without Turbo. They won 2 trial matches. They won the 100K in that. Manly are a threat this year, and I am absolutely happy to say that. I really am, because I do think Manly are a threat. But guys, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you agree with these power rankings? Do you disagree? I know some of you will, and that's fine. Let me know why in the comments, though. Don't just say you've got no idea about football, mate. You know nothing. Let me know why. Tell me. Give me examples, because you don't. All you do is whinge, and I don't have anything to go off. So give me a good example of why I don't know what I'm talking about, because I'll keep receipts. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, guys, that is going to wrap it up from me. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Also, guys, make sure you leave a thumbs up. It really helps the growth of the channel. Comment down below. Subscribe. Do what you need to do. Thank you all so much once again. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.